It seems it doesn't matter how many times they try. They're going to force you into taking things that they want you to have. Everything in life is going to be fake. Now, I can say milk on my channel without getting in trouble. But if I say that other phrase, that Warclem phrase that's spelled backwards, then I get dinged on my channel. But today we're going to talk about yet another attempt of the people out there, those who want to control your lives, the Karens of the world, who want to force you to drink things that you would otherwise not want to drink. And they're going to try to portray this as some amazing thing that you're lucky to have. Here it is. Fake milk, made in a lab, and here's what you're going to get. They're just not going to stop until, before we get into the article real quick, I'm watching and I'm enjoying all of the reports coming out from all of these electric car companies that are going out of business. Ford, the Ford Lightning, the pickup truck that nobody bought. Ford is discontinuing their Lightning pickup truck because nobody wants this garbage. They're not making them anymore because nobody wants it. It's the same thing with the Dodge Charger, the new electric Dodge Charger. No one wants it. They have an electric motor that sounds like a gas engine. It's basically, you're driving around a speaker system that makes everyone think it's a real combustible engine. No one wants that. No one's buying that. And so they're going to stop making them. Because the market, will decide until they can force you to buy these things, or they'll just take your ability to get them away, which I think is one of the part of the idea, the whole real ID and the control, the social profiles and social credit scoring systems. You're just not allowed to drive these combustible engines that you love so much. If you're not going to drive an electric vehicle, you're not approved because of your social credit score to have one of these other vehicles. I think that's where we're going, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the fake milk. Over at the Business Standard, it was published just the other day. It says milk without cows inside the science of lab-grown milk shaking the dairy world. Lab-grown milk, sometimes called animal-free dairy, is real dairy, not real, produced without cows and contains actual milk proteins, casein and whey. So it's real milk produced without real cows. I'm sorry, that just does not compute. Starting early next year, Israelis will find a new kind of milk on their supermarket shelves. One made without cows, Remilk, a food tech startup, announced it will begin selling its lab-produced milk made from a dairy protein through a partnership with Gad Dairies from next year, according to a report by the Times of Israel. The company claims its cow-free milk tastes exactly like the dairy one from January. Two variants, a 3% fat milk and a vanilla-flavored version, because when you don't have cows, you can make it chocolate milk, vanilla milk, it doesn't matter, will be available under the label New Milk. Both are lactose-free, cholesterol-free, oh, how convenient, and made without antibiotics or hormones. A separate barista line meant for cafes and restaurants will appear within days, the report said. Remilk's founders say prices will be similar to other milk alternatives like soy or almond milk, but unlike them, this one is real dairy, not real dairy. The only difference being that no cows will be involved. And so you scroll down and you find out, okay, how is this exactly made? It says, what is lab-grown milk? Lab-grown milk, sometimes called animal-free dairy, is real dairy produced without cows. Unlike almond, oat, or soy milk, which are plant-based substitutes, lab-grown milk contains actual milk proteins, casein and whey, identical to those found in cow's milk. There are two main production methods. Mammary cell cultures. Cow mammary cells are grown in bioreactors that naturally produce milk. Precision fermentation, that's the second way. Scientists insert milk, producing genes into microbes like yeast, which secrete milk proteins when fed sugar. These proteins are then blended with fats and carbohydrates to make milk. If you have to blend things together, I'm sorry, that's just not milk. But that's what they're saying. The result is then dairy that looks, tastes, and behaves like the real thing, despite it being completely grown in a lab You can froth it in coffee, make cheese, or churn it into ice cream, but without the environmental cost or ethical concerns of traditional dairy farming. Well, how does it compare nutritionally? Lab-grown milk is engineered to be nutritionally identical to conventional milk. It contains the same proteins, fats, carbohydrates, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids, comparable calcium levels, and a similar calorie profile. Because it is made in controlled conditions, produced, inside of a cow also is a controlled condition. Producers can also remove lactose or tweak. They can tweak fat content more easily than traditional dairy farmers, because us dairy farmers, we can't tweak anything. The only thing we can tweak is the type of food, I guess, we give our type of hay or grass that we feed our cows. And that does actually affect fat content, by the way. It says, for example, Remilk's new milk is lactose-free, making it suitable for those with intolerance. Oh, that's great. By contrast, most plant-based milks are lower in protein and require fortification to match the nutritional value of a cow's milk. Lab-grown milk, in theory, offers the best of both worlds, real dairy nutrition with a lower environmental footprint. You can drink your milk and save the planet. What are the challenges? Despite its promise, cost remains the biggest hurdle. Yeah, because producing this in bioreactors isn't cheap. Producing milk proteins in bioreactors is expensive, it says, and a few large-scale facilities exist. Yeah, that's their attempt to cry out to the politicians and pull on their heartstrings in order to get more funding, so they can make more bioreactors and then also slice off a bit of that funding to make their bank accounts grow. Regulations are also evolving. Since animal-free dairy contains the same proteins as cow's milk, it must carry allergen warnings. Many countries are still deciding how to label and regulate such products. Then there's public perception. Convincing people to pour lab milk under their morning coffee and tea will require a long, drawn process of trust, transparency, and perhaps time.
She's going to sink, Captain.
But she can't sink. She's unsinkable.
So the reality is the biggest challenge is you, ladies and gentlemen. It's you. You are going to be the one to decide whether or not this takes off. Because just like Beyond Meat or some of these other fake meat companies that have come and now gone, because most of them are declaring bankruptcy, it's because when you went to the grocery store, you said, no, I would rather have the real thing. I don't want your fake garbage. Though lab-grown milk closely imitates real dairy, scientists concede it still doesn't contain some of the more complicated components like immune cells and certain lipids, which are crucial elements of natural products. So they call it real milk, but really it's not real milk. It does not contain the components of real milk. In the U.S., Brown Foods in Boston, see, it's not just the Israelis, developing an unreal milk, a product made entirely from milk that's been grown in the laboratory to mimic all the important parts of cow's milk. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given the green light for commercial use of several lab-grown dairy proteins. India, being one of the largest producers and consumers of dairy, India is cautiously entering the space. Cost and consumer acceptance will determine whether such products find a foothold in a country where milk is both a staple and a sentiment. First comment posted under this article, I won't drink it. I love it. So there you go. Are you interested in drinking the fake bioreactor milk? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I am in no way going to be getting away from the Warclim that I purchase on a weekly basis from one of my neighbors. I love that, and it's a great way to get your protein and have all of the lipids and all of the actual parts that come from milk. People have been drinking this for thousands of years, and you want to come up with some bioreactor to make what people have been drinking for thousands of years because you've sold a bill of goods that it's dangerous and that it's unhealthy and that it's somehow raising the sea levels, which we all know is a bunch of garbage. I'm not buying into your cult. Real quick, so me and Michelle just did a video over at patreon.com where we talk about our favorite nighttime sleep tincture. If you have trouble sleeping, a lot of people do have trouble sleeping these days. You can try this tincture. We have both found it works absolutely freaking amazing. I would highly, highly recommend, if you're interested in better sleep at night, you can learn how to make this tincture on that video over there. It's very simple. It only contains 3 parts, 3 plant elements. You know, real plants, not grown in bioreactors. You can find most of these plants growing probably around your homestead, or even around your neighborhood, or even around your town. In certain parks, you can go find these things. They're pretty accessible. If not, they're very easily cultivated. You can buy the things online, the seeds online, the root enzyme, rhizomes online, and then plant these things. And that way you have a sleep tincture that you're growing and then producing on your homestead year after year. And I'm telling you, it works amazing. It really does. It works within less than a minute. You can feel the effects, especially when you first use it. It's amazing. All 3 of these plants are found in these books that I give all my patrons. Last time I checked the value of these books on Amazon, this one here, right there, was worth about $450, and this one here was worth about $900, over almost $1,000. So the reason why they're so expensive is because they're out of copyright, out of print. They were printed by this guy, or written by this guy, Dr. A.B. Howard, about 100 years ago, before the Rockefellers got into the medical system and ruined everything, because nobody knows about this stuff. You want to know why this stuff is so regulated? It's because it works. They don't want you using it. So we're going back in time, finding this information and applying it, and it works fantastic. It's always worked fantastic, but you can't patent this stuff and make a whole bunch of money on it. That's why the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and did all the things that they did. But you can find these books over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. I give them to all my patrons for as little as $1 a month. You join my patron for $1. You can do it for the month, get it for $1, and then download these from the PDF source that I have on my Patreon page, and then just go away. You don't have to come back. If you join at higher levels, I really appreciate it. And then you can continue to get videos like me and Michelle did today, where we talk about some of the tinctures that we're making, some of the things that we find, very effective. And so you can kind of keep on that learning curve. But you can get the books in for as little as $1 a month. I really appreciate that. You can download them. And there's even a source on that link where you can find a company that will print them for you, send them right to your door, or you can download them and then get them printed on your own. But get them printed. Do not keep them on the cloud, because if the cloud ever goes down, did you see that Cloudflare went down the other day? That happens. Internet cables can be cut. Internet is not something that's guaranteed. That can happen. Do not keep things like this that are very, very, very valuable on the cloud. Get them printed. Get hard copies and start using the knowledge that's in them. That's why they're so valuable. Okay, so don't miss this opportunity. Check out that video over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead and learn about the sleep tincture that we use, and it works absolutely, again, fantastic. All right, we'll leave it at that. If you have any other comments about this milk stuff, leave it below. I'd love to hear. See you next time on the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of An American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait.